Well, hello, my darlings. Welcome back. Glad you're here. And just a bit of a rambling video today. I didn't like all of that white that was showing through in the stencil pages of the Nevermore. So I've been on a bit of a tea dyeing kick and a bit of a messy play kick. So I've grunged all these up. Bonus tip you're going to see first is an accidental hack I found for drying. I've done some more grungy play with some acrylic inks. I've added some Victorian album pockets in here, 3 Tracy envelopes in, 2 faux sort of inserts used in Tracy's kit, and show you towards the end how to make these faux letter parcel bundles, which are still a work in progress. So I hope you stick around and enjoy. Thank you ever so much, my darlings. Back with you in a tick. Right, my darlings, I'll just put the camera on for a minute, and just to explain whether I include this in a video or an aside, I don't know yet, but just get on camera for a minute. I've decided to go a bit grungier. So I wasn't quite happy with all of that white showing through. So I've had to go dyeing and just spraying it all down with a bit of tea. And I've had some interesting results on the printed pages for sure. So, and some have reacted slightly differently than others. So like he's gone really super sepia tone now. But to compare, so these are ones I haven't sprayed yet. And you can see sort of how that white is shining through. And that tea has just knocked it back a little bit. And it has sort of reacted with some of the dyes from the stenciling, but I'm quite happy with that. And I think I do want to go super grungy. But just to share a tip now for drying. So I'll pop that away a minute. Heat and these mats do not go together. You will wreck your mats by letting them get hot. But I've kind of accidentally worked out a bit of a hack that I wanted to share with you. So I'm going to stand up for this now. Hold on. So I've got my mixed media towel. And that's going to go down. And then in the back of the kitchen cupboard, going back 6 months ago or so, I found one of these. And if memory serves, I bought it in like a Dunelm, which is for you Americans would be like a Bed Bath & Beyond. I think it was in the kitchen section to put, you know, like breaded chicken or chips or something on it. It's just a silicone mat that's got a bit of a wonky texture to it. So, but if I put the towel down and I put this on top, I can heat and heat and heat and heat to dry pages, and it doesn't affect my mat underneath. I don't know what it is, just the combination of this silicone and the towel underneath. Happy days. So let me show you what I mean. Let me grab the next wet page. So here's the next very wet page, and I will speed this up now while I'm drying. So watch this, super speed. So it's not 100%, but it's near enough for me to pop away out of the way a minute. And you can see there's all sorts of bleeds happening here. And I'm quite happy about that. That's taken on a completely different life. But if you look underneath, my mat, completely cool. Not warm in even the slightest. And I've done this with pages and done dozens of pages like this. And it's not affected my mat underneath at all. So I'm going to carry on just with tea at the moment. If we go back and do even more grunge, we'll just have to see where the muse takes us. So, for that, leave it there for a moment. I need to finish off the rest of the pages for this, get them over here to dry overnight, and crack on. So, for you, back in a tick. Right, my darlings, back now after a lot of play, and my Nevermore is looking a bit more grungier. After all of that tea spraying, and letting everything dry, and then going back and ironing them, because they did go a little wrinkly. No, I'm quite pleased with this to be used as a background now. So, but once waiting on those to dry, because like that effect, I love that. Look at that grunge. And that little bit of splatter. Some is bled through. I don't know where that yellow came from, but doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with how that sort of tea staining of everything, and it sort of changed the character of the printed pages a bit as well. Made them a bit more grungier. So no, happy with that. Pop this away. I've got some things over here to try to get in here in this video. But before I do that, I want to show you what I got up to while these were drying. I had some acrylic inks a while back from the range here in the UK. And I got an old roasting tin I use for, normally I use this for tea dyeing. And I just went to town with a spray bottle of water and the liquid acrylic inks. And I've done a few envelopes, sort of grungy windows. Of course, Poe wouldn't have had plastic back in his day, so I don't know if I use those. Those have come out wonderfully grungy. And some music papers with a slightly different sort of grunge effect on both sides. Perhaps turn it back this way to make sure I stay on camera. Because I know when I edit, part of the top gets cropped out. So 2 pieces of music paper I put in there. And it's got, I left them stacked for about 24 hours and then I spread them out. This is some really old book paper, thick book paper from like the 1920s, 1930s. I like the way that's come out. And that one as well. And so you're going to be careful with some of those because some of the little children's cartoons in those 1920s, 1930s books are not socially acceptable anymore, boys and girls. So, yes, that's a bit of wallpaper. I think I'm like in the back of the wallpaper more than the front of the wallpaper. But that had like a cream botanical design on it. You could just about see peeking through, but I'm quite liking the back. Especially for using on a Frankenstein page, for sure. That's another piece of that botanical wallpaper. And, ooh, look at the back of that one. Lovely and grungy. Yummy grunginess. I don't know why it did that sort of pattern on top. That's weird. So, that was a piece of black wallpaper that I had, that I added the inks to. Look at the back. And that was another piece of the same black wallpaper. And again, the back is quite yummy. And that was that's where that pattern has come from. This was just a piece of brown craft cardstock that I had punched tabs out of. And I'd laid that down just to line the bottom of the tin. So I'm quite liking how everything just sort of soaked through that on the bottom. So pleased with that. So those can go away for future play. But while I was at it, I did these. Now I use these in Penelope as well. And they're from the old Victorian photo album books. Right, let me grab one to show you what the original looks like. Right, and this is what the original looks like. It's like a photo album book that's got these like vignettes in them. So each page in the book would have had one of these on each side, and you slid your photographs into the top. But I've got in my tips and tricks playlist, I've got a video where I explain how I figured out how to detach these and get them apart. So those, I've chosen 3 of those and went to town with a bit of sandpaper and some acrylic inks to really grunge them up. But I'd like to see if I can add those into the Nevermore. And I've got a few other bits and pieces here that I'll come back to that I want to try to get in here. So let's have a think. These 3, where can they live? Just go for it. And if I'm not happy, I can always change the pages around. So I quite like that one, or that one, or that one. That's got more pink in it, doesn't it? That's got the pink. I like a pink rose showing through. So let's get that one on there. Take that out. Pop this out of the way. I know I'm trying to keep them in order, but it doesn't really matter if they stay in order. Well, that's got a damaged edge on it. And I can go back and sort of embellish with clusters and things. So let's keep that pink on top, because I might add to the bottom and just stick it in and just keep going, because I'm not really sure what direction this is going in. I just know I want it to be super grungy and to just keep adding. So do I want the slide from the side or the top? That's already sort of damaged there. Yeah, let's have it from the side. So give this a fair bit of glue on the back. You could line the opening with, if you were doing a different theme book, you could line the opening with a bit of cellophane or lace or netting. But the problem I have whenever I've tried to do an opening with netting means that whatever you're sliding in and out tends to get stuck on the netting. And I want to avoid shiny plastic for the fact that I want it to look old, like it could have possibly come from Poe's time, which was, what, early to mid 1800s, isn't it? Go. Leave that a bit torn and damaged there. Like Tracy when she was doing her book, I saw her video, and when she sliced the cover off the book, that floored me. I love it. I absolutely love it. Don't know if I could be that brave, but there we go. So there's one in the book, in the first signature. And let's have a look at the second signature. So that went in on my left side. So let's see if there's a right side that one of these can go in. Blue. Maybe. Let's have a look. What's on that one? Maybe on the right. Let's try here. So, Frank on this side, or her on that side. Her on that side, I think. So do I want that one? Or that one? That one, I think. There we go. The acrylic inks have, oh, do I want side? Yes. No, because that's going to be folded in. So top on that one. Yeah, there is a slight shininess to how that acrylic ink dried. I was dropping bits of the copper in there, but I didn't put that much copper. At least I didn't think I did. But I guess the more I sprayed it with water, the more it was distributing any of those metallic elements around. That's fine. Go. It's my first time doing Creep on June. I'm a bit late to the game, so it might be Creep on June and July. There we go. Pin in the glue. Come on. There we go. And get art to grab. So, the first stages of this, I think, is just me trying to get tucks and spaces in here. Tucks, belly bands, pockets, places where I can stuff things, so then I can start making the actual ephemera to fill them up. So that goes there. And we've got, let's see if we've got a page on this side. And I had to order a new Claire Nocturne. My other one is just about to give it up. So I've ordered a new one. Come in the post today. Yes, there. So, let's move these others out of the way a minute. And I want that one on the outside. Yes. So now I hope everybody out there is doing all right. I haven't done any treasure hunting in a while, so I haven't done any treasure hunting videos. I did pick up one treasure from Marketplace today in Swansea, and I'm waiting to hear back from Esprit Arts if she wants to share it with me or not. Entirely up to her. So just head down, plod on, go to work, come home, do all the domestic things, and then have the time I can have to come into this room and play with glue and paper and whatnot. Lie down, pin in the glue. Trust me, I've left the pin out of the glue. You don't want to do that. So there. That is those three in the book. And what else have I got over here? I've got these three that I've done up from Tracy's kit, that I've done a bit of crumple to. Added a tab, the envelopes from the kit. And I want to add these as pockets or tucks in there. Because these tabs then swivel as well, so they can be swiveled around and closed up if they get really stuck. And it should hold up. So I've got a card stuck in one. I don't think I've stuck anything in the other two yet. So let's see where they can live. First signature. And let's go for this botanical one. Because again, with my wonky layering, this could be layered over these areas showing. So in the book, you're going to have a little bit of him peeking out unless you've added something else to that. So that could be added anywhere, really, to stick out. And it's just a matter of, so that's a tuck. That could go there and leave that tuck behind. In fact, I think I might do that. Leave him there, 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 or seeing as it's got a botanical there hanging, no, can't hang down that way. Sorry, I'm muttering because I'm thinking. I'm trying to think at the same time. Let's go back to that original spot. Where was it? There. And if I add it there, I only need to glue it from there to there, because that can be, yeah, in a tiny bit. There was my pencil. No, yeah, that's fine. It can be loose, like an envelope's just been tucked in. I'll go for it. These are inked, so I need to go, I do need my pencil, because I need a pencil mark about there, for where my glue goes. So that corner down to that pencil mark. Oh, it's starting to warm up now here, and I am going to absolutely melt in this craft room. I need to sort out some sort of fan or aircon or something for in here. I can't have too powerful of a fan, or I'll just have paper flying everywhere. So there's that. Last year, we were walking through the hardware store, and my husband pointed to one of these like shop fans, like you see in workshops outdoors, and the big round silver ones. He goes, "They're not expensive. You could use one of those." And I just stood there in the shop. It's like, are you kidding me? If you put that in my craft room, there's just going to be stuff flying. You're just going to create a tornado in there. Oh, this made me giggle hearing into that. Right, that goes there. That goes there. And let's have a look at the next signature. So that was the first one. Next one, let's go for that checkerboard. Where can it live? Not really. Can that go on? I might do the same on that side then. Put it on the other side. Yeah, let's go for it. Possibly there. Stick it out by there. Try to mix it up a little bit. Yeah, because a bit of it will be showing here. So let's do that. So I need, well, this will be an interesting one. That side to there. Stopping there. And a little bit by there. A little bit there going up. I've lost the pencil mark again. Oh, honestly, Faith. Oh, there it is. There we go. And glue. Glue. I don't want to make this video very long, but it's very bitty as well. Oh, pardon me. That was like a half sneeze, half cough. I do apologize. Let's see if my pencil mark lines up correctly. Flip it over and check for glue. Yep, I'm alright. And in the glue. Up, and that opens up, and then you can have whatever inside. And one more into this one. Ooh. And that's quite a feminine design. I could always reprint these and include them as whole envelopes because they're quite different on the other side. Not on the backs, that doesn't really. And here, no. On the hag. No, I want that letter. Dracula. Where's this squared up at? I've lost my size. There we go. I could do here. It's covering up here, but I got the fangs showing on the top. And that would cover on top. Maybe? Yes, no, maybe? That's a no. That's a no. No. And there. That's a maybe. Yeah, let's go here. Pop these out of the way. And get it. So if it's hanging off the bottom there, it's not actually going to create a tuck. But you're going to see that from the other side. But you can't glue it to the other side. So that whole bit there needs to get glued down. Actually, if I glue it... Oh, I got an idea. Where's my pencil? There we go. So if I keep that in place there, lay it down, square it up. Yeah. Pencil line down there and up there. Then I just need to glue inside that, so it will create a tiny flap. So I'm just going to go inside that pencil line, just a touch. Because art will smush out tiny bits. There we go. Two sides should be fine. And then the glue. And then line that up on that pencil line. Now I've got to concentrate then because art grabs really quickly. There. So I have my 3 envelopes in, and we just keep building then. Just keep building all that grunginess. I'd probably add a little bit. Not much. There we go. I saying that and it all squishes out. There we go. So leave that one. And I'm happy with that. And then that's exposed on the other side when that page gets turned. Yep. Happy days. So those are those into the signatures, and I can hear my phone going downstairs, so I better go check, and I will show you then something else in just a tick. Right, and back. I've opened up my new First Find Claire. These are from Tracy's kit. At first I thought I could print the pages back to back, but it didn't work. So I've cut them out. So I've got the back of the envelope here and the front there of these two. And I've glued them together on 3 sides and inked on 3 sides. And what I want to do is use a tear ruler to tear the top so it looks like it's like an open envelope. Or that was the idea anyway. Whether this is going to work, I don't know. So let's give it a go. On that side. And give it a bit of welly. Push down. Yep. These tear rulers like a bigger purchase than that tiny lip. Hey, there we go. And now you've got that sort of torn edge on the top to expose, well, my misprint inside, but that's fine. And give that an ink on both sides. Oh, and having a yummy new black pad, isn't it a lovely, beautiful thing? So the edges look nice and singed. There we go. And I'm not going to stamp anything else on those, but I'm going to see where they could likely live in there in some of those pre-existing tucks. Let's try the other side of that one on this one. Perhaps tear it a bit shallower in. I'll cut her off if I do that. It's fine. Can always stick another stamp on top. Let's have a go. This would be easier if I'd done it before I glue them together, but if I'd done that, they would have been in different places. So, yeah, I took off the top of her head a little bit, but not too bad. And ink that then really well on both sides. There we go, one side, and oh, this is a very juicy pad. There we go. And pop that out of the way. And where can that fit into one of those natural tucks? That is Dracula. Perhaps that needs to go in nearer Dracula. There he is. Now that tucks on the other side. Yes. Leave that in there for now. Happy days. It is a little bit wet because it's so juicy. That's going to go everywhere, isn't it? Actually, right. That's going to fit lovely. I'm going to leave these out until they've actually dried a bit longer. Because that fresh black ink is just going to go everywhere. The last one I wanted to show you before signing off of this is I did these in, I can't remember which book. I can't remember if I put them into Penelope or Eglantine or one of them, but the idea is also in my Great Ugly book. I'll try to link it down below because it was an idea I had from somebody else that was in the 100 Days of Junk Journal idea collaboration. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. And this is printing some of your digis onto tracing paper. So those were on a bit of a matter tracing paper, and these were on a little bit of a waxier tracing paper. And I really like how that one has come out. And what you do is you open these up. It's like an old-fashioned way of folding a letter, I believe. And you've got this little parcel that you could put bits and pieces in or fold up a letter and put in. So, and then they just fold and tuck back in. Now, I've used them the few times I've made them now, and I've put one in the Great Ugly. This is a perfect little parcel to put little fussy cuts into because it keeps them nice and flat. They can't go anywhere. They can't fall out. So all of these were done on digitals that I printed onto tracing paper. And you could create like little parcels in, little letter parcels you could wrap up with string put in a journal. So I've done those ready, and I'll show you quickly on this last piece how to do it. And that was a thinner, like, tissue paper type tracing paper from the pound store, and my printer just went hell no, and it just ate it. It literally ate it. But quite a good size tracing paper that doesn't feel like tissue. Yeah, it actually got some structure to it, and it'll go through your printer. Or it went through mine, okay. So the first thing I do is crumple it up into a ball, and I do that 3 times because I like that sort of, you've got that sort of old effect to it then. So that's the back, that's the front that I printed on. Crumple it again, give it a squeeze, and again, I don't know how the tissue paper would hold up to that. And do it a 3rd time to get some lovely crumples in there. Now, I use a bone folder for this next bit. There's no measuring involved. Bone folder, bone folder, bone folder. You know? If you do not own a bone folder, you can use just your hands. Or if there is any really creases you want to put down, you can also use that part of a pair of standard scissors. Works nicely to crease. Do this bit with your hands and do the creasing with that. I'll show you now. So flip it over. So that's going to be your printed side's on the outside. So flip it over. Do rough thirds. Rough third going up there. Just eyeballing it. Crease it down then. And I like to give these edges a crease because it helps it remember. It gives it a memory of its shape for when you unfold it, tuck things inside, and then fold it back out again. So again, use that part if you don't have a bone folder to give it a good crease. And then roughly thirds. So I'm not going all the way to that edge. I'm leaving a little bit. Roughly into overlapping thirds. Give it a crease. And then a bit of a bone fold. And once you've got that, you want little parcel sizes. Now you don't want to go edge to edge on the back, or you won't have room to tuck them. So I'm going to give that one, that's about 1/3 of the way over. And give that a crease at the bottom. And then that side, I'm going to give about 1/4, or a little over 1/4 of the way over. I'll show you now when I open it up. Give it a crease. So I've left about that much gap. And that gives me enough room to take this side and tuck it into that side. See what I mean? And once it's tucked in, your fingers in there, give it a pat. And these actually hold a surprisingly large amount of fussy cuts as little bundles. It's such a simple idea, but it's absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to leave you there for now. I'm going to go off and do some more messy play on my own. I want to go back into the idea book, back into Penelope, have a think, what other types of tucks and pockets can I include, and these to be tied up in parcels, possibly inked, I don't know yet, I haven't decided, and ways I can add elements to these printed pages that don't obscure awkwardly the design that's on the page, for lack of a better Well, that's the best way I can describe it anyway. So like Frank there, I don't want to cover him up. I'm not fussed if he gets covered up, but I want to go away and have a think and have a play. So that's all for me for now, my darlings. And I hope you all out there having a lovely crafty time, and hope to see you back again soon. Bye for now.